Okay, hello. What today we are doing is the first assignment that was sent out to the year 11-12 video production class for the spring semester 2014. What it is the assignment's called Photoshop a splash screen. You're going to include your name, your grade, and your picture. One of the first things you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get a picture of yourself, and we'll pull that into Photoshop. So I've taken, excuse me, a picture was taken of me wearing my awesome Fox superhero outfit. Let's go ahead and pull that into Photoshop. What we'll be doing is that this Photoshop project will be in the default Photoshop size. The standard, or the imperial unit, whatever measure, is the 5 by 7, 5 inches by 7 inches. I'm not sure what that works out to be in metric. But what we're going to do is first going to knock the background out of our image. The way I'm doing this is the green screen in the background is it's pretty straightforward. I'm doing the color select. Unfortunately, I'm wearing a green tie today, so that's going to make things a little bit difficult. But not too bad. So I'm going to bring the fuzziness down, bring this up, bring my face tones down. That green tie really has messed this up. We'll pull it again. And I'm just going to get it to the point where it's like that. That'll work for now. What we're going to do is we now have a layer pulled out. Okay. I'm going to use my quick selection tool, push this up to the corner. I can refine the edge down. I suggest you do. I suggest you use that smart radius, bring it up to about 2 pixels. That's going to help smooth out your radius. Again, you're going to go to smooth. You're going to bring that to about, wherever you think. Really, that's going to be good right in there. And you can contract the edge. I like to bring out the edge just a little bit, just so that it pulls a little bit more than it ought. Also, when you look at this, you're going to notice that there are some areas that in your body, for example, you need to adjust. What you can do is you can hit the minus on your quick select tool and just make sure that there's not areas selected that shouldn't be selected. If you zoom in, you'll be able to see that the edge is pretty well defined. At that point, what you can do is select. What you're going to do is select the inverse, so it selects just your body. Unlock your layer, and we're going to copy that. What we're then going to do is we're going to go to File, New. We're going to grab a new from the default Photoshop size. Again, if you put it into, that's fine, this size right here. So we're going to hit OK. What we're going to then do is we will paste our copied layer on there, and it's not pulling across, but that's okay. What we can then do is let's actually cut it, and you'll see that it's actually cut out that image. What we'll do is jump back over here, and let's go to layer 1. We'll paste that in, and I'll have to take a look and see why that's not pasting, but we'll come back to that. What you're going to do is a splash screen is a way of introducing somebody that's going to be talking on camera. In video production, they like to have the name so people can read what the name is while the person's talking. So what we'll be doing is building a box up that we can use to put the name in. Now, generally, it's called a lower third when you're doing it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a box. In fact, what I've done is I've gone down here and I've selected my ellipse tool. What we're going to do is create an ellipse on here. And I like that it's the green. That's looking good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a couple of different layers here. We can work with those here in a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a second one, and we'll make it a little bit different of a size. And just so that you can see there's a difference in them, I'm just going to change the fill. We'll change the colors here in a little bit. Okay? So we got ellipses 1 and 2. It takes out about a third of the bottom of the screen. What we'll then do is we can move this down just a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change a couple of things with this ellipse, and you can make this of your own design. I'm just going to tone this down a little bit, and I'm going to leave the green underneath, and then going to push this down here. Next thing I'm going to do is, this is something that you can do if you want, is you can go into edit, transform path. I like using the warp a little bit and just making a little bit more of a unique sort of shape. So what we're going to do is, rather than having a straight ellipse, is I'm going to have this kind of curve up like this, just to give it a little bit of a unique kind of texture to it. What this allows you to do is put text over this, and then it will stand out from the background. So we have this shape, and we can put text in here. Having the orange kind of helps set it out a little bit. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is, I'm grabbing the text tool. What I'm asking for you to put on here is your name and grade. So we'll select a text area. After you type it, if you can't see it necessarily, you can bring your font size down or bigger just to have it pull up. If it's not really too visible because it's hidden behind the ellipses, what you can do is then pull that up. If it's hidden because it's a terrible color, you can change your color. If you have a, you're going to want to pick a color that is a little bit different than your background. Okay. After you've selected your text and moved it over to where you would like to have it, you can go right click, go to blending options. I like doing a little bit of a bevel, and then I like doing a shadow. If you go into the, you can do an inner glow. If you do a drop shadow on it, it helps it pull back from the background just a touch. Okay. One of the other things I'd like to do is put a little inner glow. That's a bit too much for me. I'm just going to bring the opacity down just a little bit, just so it has a bit of a sheen to it. You can work with all of these different layer styles on there. Okay. The next thing I'd like to do is, I'm going to actually go back to my text tool, and I had asked you to put your grade. If you do shift return, it will do a carriage return down to your other next line. And I'm going to do ICT. I'm going to do video production. If your text doesn't go exactly how you like, you can bump it over. It'll be just fine. So now we have a lower third. I've just noticed that I got a capital I there. And the next thing we're going to want to do is bring the image in. Now, I had tried to paste that. Let's try pasting it one more time. It doesn't appear that it's coming in. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to open that image directly from the desktop. We'll do the same thing where we knock the background out. I'll pause the video, do that real quick, and then we'll be ready to go with your image in the background. Okay, so what I've done is I've actually knocked out the background. I've got my photo just on there. This is something that you can do by using the color select tool and the quick select tool that I showed you in the first part of this video. Next thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab an image that I can actually pull in to the background. I believe I have something on my desktop. Otherwise, go to the internet and do an internet search. You can be able to find something. Yes. I suppose I could. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab a background, just an image that I already have on the computer. I'll use this one just because it's there. Okay, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go Control A, Control C. I'm going to select the entire layer, and I'm going to paste it on there. It's going to come across as a pretty large file. You can go to your move button, hold down Shift. Shift will let you move it around and keep the scaling. If you do not hold down Shift, it gets all fat. I'm going to press the Shift button now. You'll notice it springs back to its original proportions. So I'm going to center that up pretty well. I'm going to bump it off just to the left a little bit. You'll notice that it is in front of the my picture, so I'm going to just bump it down so it's in the side. At this point, you can move it around so that it is got the subject just off to the side. And that is a fine and epic photo. So what you will then do is, you're going to save this file. What you're going to do is save as. I ask that you save not only the PSD file, that's the Photoshop document that keeps track of all your layers, but in Photoshop as well as all the video production programs, you will have to export your final work in a couple of different formats. If you export it as a PSD and turn that in, the person that receives the file has to have the Photoshop document, whereas if you knock it out as a JPEG, it just compresses it and makes it a lot better. You can do a PNG, a PNG, or you can do a JPEG. There's the the formats that are recognized today. There's other ones out there. I'm going to name this something that's relevant. You could name this, splash, screen, assignment, Swanson, something that I can identify as you. If you put your name in every assignment that you turn in, it's going to make my life and your life easier. Include your name, include what the assignment is. If you want to say assignment 1, that makes it good. Hit save. You'll then be asked how big of a file you want to do. The bigger the file, the longer it'll take to upload, but it has better quality, so you need to find a balance. You say okay, you go ahead and knock that out. You'll then see that put wherever you want. It'll open up not in Photoshop, but your whatever default photo program. You'll then be able to view that item.